This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop about research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared from our students, faculty, and other members of our USC community. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Viterbi Voices. This is Emily Powis, one of your co-hosts. I am a senior studying biomedical engineering. Unfortunately, you're missing my other co-host, Paul, today. He couldn't join us, but I do have another special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself, Elena?
Yes, I can. Hello, everyone. My name is Elena, and I'm a senior studying chemical engineering. I'm excited to be on the podcast today.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to have you on this is your second feature, correct?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. And what are you bringing with us today?
Today, I bring you guys Baxter, the tie-dye robot. So I had the pleasure of interviewing 3 mechanical engineers, and they worked on a summer project this past summer, in which they were able to code a robot that was able to kind of aid the fashion industry. So it kind of combined fashion, technology, and engineering, in which they were able to use a robot to kind of create different tie-dye patterns.
Wow, that's super cool. I'm super excited. Is there anything you want to highlight for your listeners to listen to before we get started?
Yes, there is. So this project actually featured 3 women, Meghana, Danielle, and Olivia. And 2 of them are seniors, while 1 of them is a junior. And it was kind of the first time they've done something like this. It was the first time that they were able to kind of work with a robot and code a robot. And so they all worked on it during the summer. Some of them had internships. So it was kind of using their free time to create this project, to create this amazing robot that they were able to use compliments of Professor Gupta.
Wow, that's awesome.
I know.
Oh, okay. Well, without further ado, let's get into it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Viterbi Voices podcast. Hi, my name is Elena, and I am a senior here at USC studying chemical engineering with an emphasis in petroleum. And with me today, I have 3 lovely women that will be introducing themselves, where they're from, and their grades before we jump right into our podcast today.
Hello, I'm Danielle. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering here at USC.
Hi, I'm Meghana. I'm a junior in mechanical engineering.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering.
Great. And then with that, just want to ask you guys some just opening questions and just jump right into it. So it's currently 2022, and I know that we had a couple of weeks of online school. So now that we've been back in school for 2 weeks in person, how's it been?
It's been pretty good. Trying to adjust back to in-person has been hard though. It's actually much easier to go from online or to go from in-person to online than it is to go from online to in-person.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are some aspects though that I prefer in person, like for example, Mech Ops. We had 1 online lab this semester, and that was not as fun as in person, I will say. So yeah, super glad to be back in person in that aspect.
Yeah, it's really great to be connecting with friends again in person and just getting back in the classroom.
Great. And with that, so Danielle, Olivia, and Meghana, you guys worked on a project last summer that features the intersectionality of robotics in the fashion industry. Specifically, you worked with a robot named Baxter. So would you like to expand upon that? Who is Baxter and what makes the project that all 3 of you worked on so special?
So I guess I can start. So Baxter actually hadn't been used much prior to us coming to work in the lab. So we pretty much had a wide range of ideas. We could have done almost anything with him, but definitely getting adjusted to using to using him was a little bit hard without like the guidance. I'm sure Magna can expand on that.
So basically, this was just like a summer research project, and our advisor, Dr. Gupta, he's great. He challenged us to perform a task that has never been done before that involves like the manipulation of any compliant object. So by compliant, I mean like an object that's flexible or deformable, like a t-shirt. And so Baxter, as Danny said, hasn't been used in the lab. And so Dr. Gupta thought this was like, a good opportunity to have, some undergraduates gain exposure to like robotics in a nice way.
And I think it's good to mention that during COVID, before we were working with Baxter, there was another undergraduate group who was designing grippers for Baxter's arms, I guess. And they kind of, I would say, influenced our direction on this because they were working on grippers specifically to handle fabric, which I think kind of pushes in the direction of manipulating fabrics.
Okay, and then just for like our audience who might not be Mechie or who might not know, was Baxter a like pre-made robot that the mechanical engineering department just kind of had that you guys had access to working with and just kind of innovating what it could do?
Yeah, I can actually talk more about exactly what Baxter is. So Baxter is a bimanual manufacturing robot. Bimanual meaning he has two arms. And what's special about Baxter compared to other manufacturing robots is that Baxter was meant to work alongside humans. And he also has somewhat of a humanoid design. This is why I'm saying he instead of it. But he has two arms and a screen that can display different facial expressions. And his arms are actually compliant. So if you grab or like push his arms around, they aren't completely rigid and they give a little. This is because its arms have like joints that use what's called like series elastic actuators, meaning that there's like an elastic element, like a spring between the gearbox and the joint. And so Baxter also has a ton of sensors. So it recognizes his surroundings and he can act accordingly. So all of these combined make Baxter like a very safe robot to work alongside, which was perfect for us because we are complete beginners.
Complete beginners are doing great work. I can't imagine being a beginner and just kind of like working with a robot or coding a robot to do something the way that you guys have. Just to like kind of add upon that, you mentioned using Baxter to work with fabrics, to work with just like the concept of tie-dyeing. So I know that there was another group that kind of used the Baxter robot to make pancake art. So before landing on the topic of tie-dye and just the fashion industry, what other ideas were you considering using this robot for?
So when we started off, Professor Gupta had actually recommended that we look into handling fabrics like for sheets, to remove the sheets from hospital beds, and kind of automate that process that I know is very repetitive. So we were also kind of looking into maybe finding a way to remove sheets from hospital beds and other things that maybe could help during this era of COVID. But we just weren't as interested in that as we were in this tie-dye project.
I think also part of the decision was made because we were looking for something that would get people excited about kind of what we were working on. Not a whole lot of like little kids or something would be interested in hearing about an undergraduate group who's like undoing bed sheets, but the tie-dyeing aspect kind of brought in some more excitement.
Yeah, and adding on to that, we also wanted to go for tasks that were maybe repetitive or tedious. A lot of the fashion industry today, it utilizes human labor to perform all of these like repetitive tasks like folding and sewing and cutting. So that's also kind of what led us to tie-dye, since it's like a repetitive task, but it's also kind of a fun and creative process at the same time.
Are you all tie-dye enthusiasts? Like, have you tie-dyed before? I know that personally, I've tried to tie-dye and it always comes out not the best. So, like, did you use kind of your own personal experience with tie-dyeing to help like innovate this robot, or just kind of figure out what you wanted the robot to do?
I think it was kind of a combination of some past experience with tie dyeing and then also just like videos online, trying to get a pattern that we liked. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something I don't know. Megna might have not tie-dyed before this. I can't remember
I
if
have
she,
not.
yeah, what? Like, but I will say I have tie-dyed and I got way better shirts out of Baxter than I ever could do on my own. So it was really cool. We have so many. I know that Olivia and Megna both have some shirts also.
Maybe I might need to get a Baxter to help me learn how to tie-dye.
Yeah, we should have made you one.
Honestly, man, it's rough out here trying to be creative. Um, so what appealed to you all about like the hands-on project? So have you had an opportunity in the past, maybe through classes, to kind of work on a project as hands-on as this one?
Honestly, not really. This was for me with the combination of COVID and like just not being on campus. This was the first real hands-on project that I was like in the lab for, which was really exciting.
Honestly, same here, especially because I'm a junior. So I didn't even have a full freshman year. It was just, yeah, my fall semester freshman year and like half of spring semester. And then we were just online for all of sophomore year. So, yeah, it was kind of hard to find any kind of hands-on experience in that regard.
Yeah, we're definitely grateful for the USC Manufacturing Lab for allowing us to come in there and work because we wouldn't have really gotten that hands-on experience otherwise.
That's good. And then I know Danielle and Olivia, you both are seniors. So how did this project kind of inform your post-grad plans? Is this the kind of work that you're looking to pursue in your career?
Speaking for myself, I at least was definitely inspired by making it a little bit easier to manufacture clothing. So I am looking to go into wearable tech, but I wouldn't say that I necessarily am using anything that I learned from this project, but it was just really cool to have something to put on my resume that has to do with quickening the fabric process and handling.
Yeah, likewise. I don't think that it's really something that is necessarily driving my career after USC, but it was a really awesome experience and something that I'm really grateful for.
That's amazing. And Meghana, like I know that for this project, you kind of took on the role of learning how to code in Python. So how has this new skill kind of informed your career path, or just kind of added like more tools to your skill set?
Yeah, going off of that. So I haven't actually coded in anything in Python before. Like I have taken coding classes in the past. So, through USC, I learned how to use MATLAB. And then in high school, I was actually, I took AP Comp Sci and I learned how to use Java. But Python was completely new to me. And on top of Python, Baxter actually runs on a system called robot operating system. And so I had to learn how to use basically all of that in like such a short time period. So some things I got out of that is that, confidence, I guess, is one, because I actually was not even sure if I would be able to accomplish such a feat in such a short amount of time. But I also learned that I'm interested in the robotics industry now. So because robotics is such an interdisciplinary field, like it incorporates not only like mechy and design, but also computer science. So I think that's something I would love to get into in the future.
That's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. And so you had to learn kind of how to like use Python and just use like the robotics operating system. So did you guys run into any kind of hindrance, any setbacks as you were programming Baxter to do what you wanted it to?
Oh, for sure. The biggest setback I would say was getting the vision system to work. So Baxter actually has cameras on its arms. So to center Baxter's workspace, we wanted the camera to detect like a small red marker on the center of the t-shirt. And finding the location of that marker and getting Baxter's arm to consistently hit it every time was quite a big challenge. But eventually we worked it out, and we found that the camera was actually viewing the t-shirt at a weird angle. And so once I like fixed the camera so that I was looking straight down at the t-shirt, it ended up working, which was really great.
So what I'm hearing is you kind of it sounds like the technology that they use in like the movies where you kind of use the camera to allow the coding, like the background AI work to do its thing. That's something that was incorporated into Baxter to kind of get it to move where you want it to.
Yeah, essentially. I wouldn't say it was necessarily AI, but the way it worked was that it would so you'd take like an image, like a picture of the shirt with the red marker, and then you'd find like the coordinates of that marker, like the pixel coordinates, and then you'd use some math called like to convert those pixel coordinates to Baxter's workspace coordinates. And then once you have those workspace coordinates, you do something called like inverse kinematics,
Mm-hmm.
and then that will, give you all the joint angles and like how to move Baxter's arm to get to that position.
I see. So it's working within Baxter's workspace, but not necessarily the size of the shirt. So like with like a small shirt versus an extra large shirt, would that kind of throw off Baxter?
Not necessarily, as long as Baxter can identify the center of the t-shirt, which is the part of the t-shirt we're concerned with. It should work for any shirt, theoretically.
That's really cool. And so like with that, do you guys think that there's any way that kind of Baxter could get more use? So like towards the beginning of our podcast, you spoke about how Baxter wasn't really getting that much use within this kind of space that you guys found him in. So is there other ways that Baxter could be incorporated into like maybe some more hands-on school projects or just group work or something that you guys kind of did?
Yeah, definitely. Baxter, I think he's being used actually this semester. Some students, sophomores or juniors, definitely were using him to make pancakes or something.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of interest at the beginning of last semester, like the fall. I don't know really what inspired that, but I attended some meetings at the beginning and there were like 15 kids interested in trying to do something with them.
So do you think it's like easy to get to use Baxter? Because I'm also a senior, but I've never heard about Baxter. So is he kind of sole use for the aerospace and mechie department?
Definitely not. I mean, he's at the CAM lab, right? So it's like any student can go in there. I believe even if you weren't engineering, you could walk in there and talk to Professor Gupta and see how you could help out and get some experience. It's really there for just to allow students to get interested and get some hands-on experience.
Yeah, and our project could have been expanded. I know that we weren't able to make too many shirts, but if we had had another semester to keep working on this project, I mean, we could have brought Baxter to the football games and had to make shirts for people on the side or something. There's a lot more that people can do with him, and I really hope that this podcast inspires some sort of interest, because a lot of kids could pick it up very easily. I shouldn't say easily, but you can with some effort.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Baxter is a pretty good introduction to, robotics for at least undergrad students. It is quite a steep learning curve for using ROS, but since ROS is so widely used to control a bunch of other robots, I think it's like a great way to get introduced into the field of robotics.
That's really cool. And then I just realized that I never asked you guys just kind of like where you met. So are you guys part of the same research group or maybe like a same club that kind of started to use Baxter? Like what brought on this project?
Yeah. So actually, I had been working with Dr. Gupta the previous semester. It was, I think, spring of 2021. This was like online, and I was introduced to him through Viterbi's Center for Undergraduate Research. I think it's called Curve. And so that introduced me to Dr. Gupta. And then through that project, I actually wanted to continue working with him over the summer and working with, manipulating compliant objects, but like a hands-on experience. So I reached out to him, and then he basically formed this group.
Yeah, I had a friend that worked at this lab. I think at the same time that Megna was working there last year, and he introduced me to Dr. Gupta, and I reached out to looking for something to do this summer, and he just kind of put us all together, which was awesome.
Yeah, I got lucky. I just happened to find these two girls in a group with me. I could not have done it. Would not have done it if I didn't know that they were going to be doing this. It's awesome.
It's amazing. I know that I watched a video about you guys' project about Baxter just tie-dyeing these shirts, and it looked extremely cool. Now that you have this background, I kind of touched upon this a little bit, but are you guys interested in pursuing any work related to coding or programming? Not necessarily robotics, because I know that you're all mechy.
So I'm a mechie now, but I actually am going to look into taking an iOS class after I graduate at Stanford, and go into something more on that path.
Mm-hmm.
I've been kind of working with like a dating app sort of thing. So I do find that to have a little bit more room for creativity than I do in hardware. Cause I mean, like you heard us talking about, like it's hard. It's really hard to get these like to get Baxter to just like do a good twist. I mean, that's impossible. The limitations with hardware aren't really there in software, I come to find.
That's very true. I feel like software, you're kind of creating whatever you want. If you can think about it, you can kind of code it into reality, you know?
Definitely.
What about you, Olivia?
So I actually have a computer programming like specialization through USC here. So I'm definitely interested in looking into some jobs that would require me to code. I enjoy it. It's fun. I don't know, just working with computers, and especially when like in a project like this where you can really see results, you have Baxter moving because it's something that you did. It's really rewarding.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Personally, I can't see myself going into say software engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like to see physical results of my code. So whether that be through a robot moving or even like something completely different, like coding a video game, I think those are things I would be more interested in
doing. So, oh my gosh, that's really cool. Like the video game aspect. So you just kind of leaving you're also a junior, so you have like more time to kind of explore and figure out like what you want to kind of do, but you kind of want to see more of like the fruits of your labor within the coding. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say I'm somebody who's motivated by physical results.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really nice to have like a tangible product that I can see at the end of my hard work.
I feel that I have to do some coding within Chemi, and sometimes if I spend 16 hours coding and I can like run it and see it run fully and just kind of see the product of like the chemical plant that I created work, it gets me so excited. And I don't really like coding like that, but when it works, I'm extremely hyped.
So satisfying. I agree.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, so we're kind of getting to the end of our podcast, and with that, I just kind of want to know like what's next for you. So I know that Danielle and Olivia, you guys are seniors, you're graduating this year. What are you planning to just kind of do after the semester? And then Meghna, same for you. Like, what do you plan to do after you finish off your junior year?
I will let Olivia start that one.
All right. Yeah, tough questions that you're asking with graduation in 3 months. But I think that my plan right now is to hop into industry and get some work experience, and maybe like explore some new places. I'm definitely planning on coming back to school at some point, whether that be at USC or elsewhere. Definitely eager to always learn more. So that's kind of what my plan is.
Yeah, and I mean, I just quit my job today, so I'm ready to learn. I'm not even kidding. So I'm switching gears right now. But yeah, definitely. I'm looking to make connected devices, and I'm taking a great class right now. For anyone listening, ITP 388. Connected devices is a great capstone project for engineers, honestly, from any discipline. I know we have some EEs in there, some comp sci kids, and then you've got me. So it's definitely helping me figure out what I want to do after I graduate, because Lord knows that is the big question.
You know, don't let anything hold you back. If you know what you want to do, like if quitting your job and just kind of exploring a new path is what feels right to you, absolutely go for it.
Yeah, agreed.
What about you, Meghana?
Yeah, so I'm actually this semester I'm continuing doing research in robotics with Dr. Gupta and his lab. So like I'll just like briefly explain the premise of my project. I'm trying to do conformal 3D printing with like a giant robot arm, to put it simply. And I think in the future, I'm still not really sure what I want to do, if I want to go into research or industry. But for now, at least school-wise, I'm thinking of doing PDP, also in mechanical engineering. So we'll see how that goes.
We'll see. I'm also in PDP. So I know I'm doing PDP in digital oil field technologies here at USD. So hopefully, hopefully it turns out well. I'm kind of like halfway through it, luckily, because I started it last semester and I've been taking classes this semester. But all I see here are 3 extremely smart women who know what they want to do and who are working towards their goals, which is absolutely amazing to see, especially in engineering.
Yes, ma'am.
Girl boss.
So thank you, Meghana. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Olivia, for joining us on the Viterbi podcast today. It was amazing to hear what you had to say about Baxter, about engineering, and just your process and working together and creating a unique robot that can work with soft materials such as fabric and tie dyeing.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a cool opportunity to showcase our work, and also shout out to CAM, Center for Advanced Manufacturing. This wouldn't be possible without them or Viterbi.
Great. Bye-bye, everyone.
Awesome. And we're back. Thank you so much for that. That was super interesting. I was wondering, what do you think, like, after interviewing them, is like the benefit of doing like a group project like this?
I would say that the benefit would be just having other people to rely on. So like I stated earlier, Meghana and Danielle, they're seniors. And so Danielle and Olivia had internships. So Meghana was kind of the person that did all of the background coding, as well as was just able to hold the group together, while the other two were working, like they were working full-time over the summer, as well as contributing to this project. So it kind of just taught them the power of teamwork, communication, as well as just like working remotely, as well as in person synchronously.
Yeah, it's cool that they were able to do such a big project like this and work asynchronously with one another, because that's like the hardest part about communication is, number one, doing it in a group, and then if you have to move it to an online platform, that just adds like more wrinkles into it. So it's really cool to see them do that.
I agree.
Do you have any cool plans for this week?
Not much. I'm just gonna go to my first tennis class, which I'm excited for.
Nice.
I know I'm trying to use my last semester as a senior to just like do learn more things, do more sports, and that's kind of my goal for the rest of the week.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I'm taking sailing, so all
That's
props to
cool.
learning new things. Okay, awesome. Well, without further ado, I think that wraps it up. Thank you so much again, Elena.
Thank you.